And I got back to my desk after that trip and I sat down. Oh, yeah, this isn't my space anymore. Right? It was this huge aha moment of I really want to be out there helping women learn how to leverage AI in their small business. I've done all that I have to do here in the corporate space. And so I started really at that point planning my exit strategy from corporate.
Passion, inspiration, determination. Are you ready to jump into a better life? Welcome to our program, Jump Into It. Prosper with purpose. Welcome to Jump Into It, a podcast to help you prosper with purpose. Today's episode is all about leadership, innovation, stepping into your full potential as an entrepreneur. I'm excited to welcome Abbey Dyer-Amonette, a trailblazing AI strategist, business coach, founder, and CEO of Lead with Positivity. She's also the creator of the AI-empowered female entrepreneur, helping women leverage AI in simple, strategic ways to grow their business. With over 20 years of leadership experience, including as a Fortune 500 executive, her impact was recognized globally when she received First Place Award for Women in Tech, Science, and Engineering. Congratulations. From the Women Changing the World organization. Today, we're diving into how she's helping women entrepreneurs combine mindset, leadership, and AI to create real growth and lasting success. Hi, Abbey. Welcome to Jump Into It.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. Been following your career lately prior to you becoming a guest, and you've built a lot of credibility both in the corporate and entrepreneurial space. So, can I ask, what were the key decisions that helped position you as a leader in AI and in business?
Great question. Well, it is a little daunting when you come into a new space trying to figure out exactly how you fit into the greater landscape. And when I came into the AI space, it was just starting to roll out to your average person. And it had been something that we had seen a little bit of in the corporate space. So it took me a little bit of time to learn the tools myself, which was the first place I started. How do I make sure that I am really hands on compared to my corporate job, which after a while, when you're in a director role, you have less of that hands on, right? So I really took the opportunity to get hands on with AI. And then I started building my network with other folks online who had large followings. How could I position myself in front of their already pulled together great following and begin to share what I thought was really important about AI, which is not losing our authenticity as people as we go into this AI space. It's so tempting. It's so tempting to just hand it over. And I am really a supporter of making sure that we authentically and ethically use AI. My biggest kind of like, aha, this is what I'm going to be doing moment was I went to speak in London, not last year, but the year before. So 2024. And I went to speak. It was the first time I spoke on AI. It was in London. It was very exciting. I was actually at an event that was being hosted by a large Facebook group influencer. And I got back to my desk after that trip and I sat down at my desk and I was like, oh yeah, this isn't my space anymore. Right. It was this huge aha moment of I really want to be out there helping women learn how to leverage AI in their small business. I've done all that I have to do here in the corporate space. And so I started really at that point planning my exit strategy from corporate and how do I get myself signed up so I get to be this huge, and I lovingly call myself an AI nerd, but how do I get to do that all the time and help people implement this technology in their business?
So that's because you've done something where you've identified a growing opportunity, a real niche, a void in that space, and then grew from there with finding affiliates or groups with a large tribe that are ready to listen. Now, tech AI, in your opinion, how receptive is our women entrepreneurs and coaches to AI? Because you're in this space a lot with personal coaches, right?
Yes.
Is that
Lots.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like how open and receptive are they? Are they scared of it? Are they saying, "Hey, I'm not ready"? Are they sitting back? Because you know the curve, right? You have the early
Yes.
adopters that are going to grab onto every new toy that comes along,
Absolutely.
and then you've got those that are going to say, "I'm going to wait and see if this is really going to stick around for a while." And
Yeah.
then it's got to reach that certain plateau where, just like the cell phone, everybody has one.
You're right. Yes, absolutely. And for me, it's been a little bit of the faith over fear as I dove into AI. And you've got people on both camps, right? Some people are like, I'm absolutely not using AI for all kinds of reasons, for the loss of authenticity for sure. But there's also the energy that's being used for servers supporting AI. There are people concerned about water consumption. I mean, I have all kinds of folks weigh in the social media space around AI. But there are a lot of, and I do work with a lot of female coaches and female entrepreneurs. Most folks are open to AI and they're still a little scared of it, right? We're not quite to the point that everybody's ready to dive in head first, as I did, but I am there to hold their hand and try and help them just do the first thing. Like try the first thing. And I always encourage people to try something like ChatGPT. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, just one of the basic AI tools. And just try it. Just give it a try.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. You have to do baby steps, and then sometimes you just become obsessed with the impact, the power, the insight you can get from from the tools like ChatGPT. And I use ChatGPT all the time. And one of the things that I'm going to get ahead of myself here, but you talked a lot about custom ChatGPT.
Mm,
And that's something that even I'm going, okay, I use ChatGPT all the time. And I've never heard the term custom chat GPT. And that sounds like something that is now it's becoming a personalized assistant for me than just an aggregate of data that can assimilate and filter and pop up what I find are the key or they define as the key points. Can you share what that custom experience with ChatGPT is versus just a tool to do instant queries on?
I love explaining that actually. So, yes, I can. I like to describe it as think of ChatGPT on its own as the ocean, right? And so when you are putting something in the chat, and I laugh because if you can Google, you can put something in the chat in ChatGPT, right? It's a pretty simple sort of process.
Yeah.
But when it goes out to bring you information, it's searching the ocean. So it's just this huge amount of data that it's going out and searching. I like to call custom GPTs either the pond or the bucket. So you're going from the ocean of information to this really finite information that you've trained a custom GPT on. When I think about clients that I work with, you've got ChatGPT and you're going in and saying, hey, give me a Facebook post, right? That's short or long or about this or about that. When you have a custom GPT, it can be trained on your actual IP. So your actual strategy that you use in the programs in your business. And it makes it a really incredible tool. I build what I what I call three different kinds. One is a task GPT that does basically one thing, right? One is a marketing GPT and one is a tutor GPT. And they each do something slightly different and something a little more complex as you go up in the order of those. But it really is a tool that can help you remove a lot of the manual sorts of tasks that you do within your business. And that's custom GPTs. That's not even agentic AI and all. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I like about ChatGPT is that, when you do a query on Google and you enter all the information, it comes up like they have its own AI tool and it comes up with the answer, but it doesn't save it so that you build on that conversation and you
Yeah.
can refer back to that past conversation. Maybe you can upload documents and Excel spreadsheets, and then it will refer back to that, what it had told you before to build onto it. So it learns from your past queries to be able to provide you with more guided solutions or content. And that's what's so powerful about it. It's not just you go in, you get the information, come out. No, you've got this learning tool that's learning along with you and building. I've just launched an AI tool myself, and the challenge with ChatGPT, and you can share and say, "Hey, I'm not experiencing it," is that they're wrong. They're not always right. You can say, "Okay, well, I know nothing about aerodynamics or how to fly a plane, but you know what? I'll use ChatGPT, and they'll tell me everything I need to know." But if you don't have some common sense, like even with marketing, if you don't have some common sense and know-how on how to do it, ChatGPT can lead you down the wrong path in the
Yeah.
wrong rabbit hole if
Yeah.
you don't have some of that groundwork and expertise to be able to go, no, 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 no. I don't want to go there. You're giving me over complicating things or giving me too much information. I want to narrow it down. And then it's like you're a parent to the child and going, no, 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 no. Yeah. I don't want you to behave like this. You have to behave like this. And then it apologizes.
It is very polite, ChatGPT. Yes, absolutely. Well, I think you brought up a couple of really important things. One is AI is not 100%. It's just not. And we can't treat it like it is, right? That is a really easy kind of pitfall to get into. So not 100%, make sure you're treating it that way. I think also one of the things that I thought of as you were talking was there's this thought process that we have when we get into chat gpt and we start using it. And what I see a lot with clients is they start getting too much information,
Mhm.
right? So we go
Yeah,
from,
yeah. Yeah,
gosh,
you
I
ask a
don't
simple question and you get 3 page, and you gotta go
want
back to that one snippet that of the answer you wanted, or you ask again, but say, "Condense it."
absolutely. So I think
Yeah,
you can definitely get down a rabbit hole.
yeah,
I like to think of AI as a co-creator with us. That's really how we should be using it in our business.
yeah. I agree, I agree. So going back to your success in the AI space, and that you stepped on from being this idea into getting onto the bigger stage and becoming that industry expert. Can you walk through some of those steps that you took? Like you mentioned the one about going to tribes, that people or tribes, or I guess Facebook channel or communities. What were the steps that got you to become a strong personal brand?
Yeah, visibility is something that I wasn't super familiar with in terms of it. As you said earlier, it's different in corporate. You do have a personal brand in corporate, but it's different than it is. I showed up at a lot of events. I wanted to kind of take in everything that the people who were already leading in the AI space were talking about. So I I went to events. I read everything that came online out from OpenAI and every other source. So I did podcast interviews. I got myself in a couple of books. I did all sorts of different things that got me visibility. In addition to that, and slogging is the term that comes to mind for me, but it's all that time spent in the trenches doing social media, right? Because at least initially, I didn't run ads at all. I did all of it organic marketing and lots of different networking, right? And network's a little different on Facebook than it is on Instagram, than it is on LinkedIn. But I used those main platforms to start talking about AI, to start sharing what I was learning, to again, just get myself really visible. I signed up for multiple different programs that allowed you to promote so that I could get my face out there, so that I could do live, so I could just keep showing up, right? It's been almost 5 years for me now in the online space. The last couple of years specifically really dialed in from an AI perspective. I also have done some in-person events. I have done lots of international speaking. So looking for those opportunities where somebody would let me get up on a stage and share my love of AI.
That's a lot of things. Did you use ChatGPT to come up with the plan?
No, no, I didn't. But I mean, that probably would have been a good idea. I used more of what I learned from a career perspective to position myself in the right rooms with the right people to have the right conversations.
Very smart, very smart. Because there's a lot of women entrepreneurs and are out there going, how do I do this? So you are providing our listeners with some guidelines, but that's a long list. If we could narrow it down to that 80-20 rule, where you got 80% of the biggest impact for 20% of your effort, what would that be?
I would say actually showing up at events with other AI experts. Like I showed up in Dallas last year where Austin Armstrong and Molly Mahoney and Jonathan Mast and kind of all of the people I was looking to from an AI perspective, I got in the room with them. And so that is by far the fastest way, the most effective way. Now, you don't always have that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
will say, I got the opportunity to be in that room from a relationship I established with one of the people who has a really large Facebook group. So it was the work in building relationships.
So did they
Really,
refer you? Is that, when you connected with them, did they refer you to their network and help promote you that way, like affiliate or partnership opportunities?
yeah. So what actually happened was I got asked to speak in that London event. After I spoke in the London event, and it was actually Christina Rowe, who has Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs Facebook group, which has almost 1 million people at this point. I'm in her VIP program. And so I've gotten some more one-on-one exposure to her. It's how I got the invite to go to London. After that, she had an offer to invite 3 people to come to this event in Dallas, and I was very grateful to be one of those folks that got the invitation. And it's not just getting the invitation, it's doing it, right? Because you can get invited to a lot of places, but you have to put in the effort and the investment and all of those things to show up.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that we're talking about AI. We're talking about something that's very intangible. We're talking about, that social media and all. But when it comes down to relationships and being successful, it's still that one-to-one relationship that
It
is so
is.
powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And those things take time,
Yeah.
right? I'd
Yeah.
say one of the things for your listeners is these are not things that happen overnight, right? These are things that are developed over years of getting to know people and going to events and really looking proactively, looking for opportunities to be able to get in front of and get in a room with and get at a table with the right people in order to build those really strong relationships so that they think about you when you're not in the ring, right?
Mm.
You're not
Mhm.
in the same place with them, you come to mind.
How much is this social, like you mentioned about the social media and the tribes, how much importance is social media to your business? You talked about the one-to-one relationship and building it and maybe connecting to their tribe. So social media is very key to them. But to your business, is it really so key or just connecting with people that are strong on social media?
That's a great question. I have found in my time in the online space that I came into the online space knowing pretty much close to zero about marketing, right? That was not my background. My background was operations and tech. And
Mm.
I have over the last 5 years become an expert in marketing. My specific marketing is more in the Facebook space. It's more in the Facebook group space because I love Facebook groups. I love the way that they create communities. And so for me, social media, I mean, I wouldn't be where I am right now with the relationships that I have if it wasn't for social media. And I love the online space because similar to my corporate career where I had staff all over the globe, I know female entrepreneurs all over the globe. I mean, it's such a incredibly interesting and fun space to be in, to be like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you, you're in Australia, and then I'm gonna talk to you and you're in the UK. And it, it's amazing. It's amazing
Yeah.
to learn all of the different perspectives that people have from all around the world.
Interesting. So that is like the community is a direct connection. And then they've got the content machine, right? They're pushing out
Yes.
all that content across your social media channels, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Facebook. Like,
Yes.
right? It can be a big monster of a machine, right? And AI certainly can help with that. But as an entrepreneur, how much time do you feeding the machine versus building those one-to-one connections?
Yeah, that's a great question. I spend a minimal amount of time on social media itself. Like when I first came into the online space, I spent all my time doing that. Right.
Yeah.
But now I very much have a posting schedule, right? Where I'm going to post, when I'm going to post. I go in and do my post, and then I actually close out of social media and I work on building GPTs and I work on building apps and I keep myself out of that space so I don't lose productivity
Yeah.
to social media.
I think that's a really important thing to highlight to a lot of people is that you can get lost in
Oh,
social media and it can be draining. The social media platforms are built to keep you in like Netflix, right? You don't just watch one show. You
right.
watch, you're there for hours. Like they're just
Mhm.
they,
Yeah,
they pull you in and then that's and then you
absolutely.
become consumed by it. But it's engineered that way to be like that. And when you want to run a business and profit margins are important and being productive, you have to be careful of how social media fits into your life and into your business.
Absolutely. I have a bunch of different folks that I've followed over the years, different coaches and folks that I've been in programs. And one of those people is Russell Brunson. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
founder of ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. I've
one of
read
the
his books too.
yeah, one of the things that he said a couple of years ago that really stuck for me was now as a business owner, you need to look at social media differently. And you are no longer a consumer of social media. You are a creator of social media. And I went, yeah, yeah. And for me, I've even found that like my social media time when I'm binge watching Netflix is mostly business, right? At this point, because I use my profile to help grow my business, I mostly get business stuff, right? I no longer see my high school friends and all those folks, but I
Yeah.
think of that as spending my time wisely on my interactions with social media because you can get really lost in it.
Yeah. And now what is the key to building that social media, the followers? Like you want to have like as an influencer, you want to have followers that are going to buy your product or or
Yeah.
to be able to be paid as an influencer. You have to have a tribe that's going to be willing to buy.
Yeah,
That's it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's been a really interesting adventure.
Mm.
I never thought much about monetizing Facebook or having brand partnerships and those kind of things. That's more of in the last year or so for me. But you really do think about the things that you do from a social media perspective differently. And what I found was I started consistently showing up on Facebook, and Facebook started giving me more opportunities. So the more consistent I was, the more the value in what I was posting, the more doors begin to open from a you'll open up your Facebook one day and I'll be like, hey, do you want to do this? And you're like, yes, I do.
You mean other people finding you, right? So Facebook will push out more of your posts to like-minded people, and then like-minded people find you. Is that what you mean?
Well, yes, that for sure. But you also have Facebook. And who knows how they do this? I have absolutely no idea what kind of analytics they have behind the scenes.
Okay.
But at the point in which you're getting a lot of either followers or a lot of engagement, they will start offering you new things that you can use and monetize in the Facebook space. And prior to being offered that, I didn't even know that that existed, right? But it's really about consistently showing up with content that provides value to people. And that value brings you the followers and the engagement and the monetization.
I just exploring this personal branding and I'm look at all these communities of women entrepreneurs. Like some of them are 80, quarter of a million. Like it's crazy. The volume of communities and the number of women involved in each of those communities. And I'm sure that there's an overlap there in many ways. And when you look to post, you're pulled in from your personal profile to connect with the group. You can connect with your business or a company page or a group page to that community, right? It has to be your
Right.
personal profile.
Most require you to be your personal profile. I have some folks that have come into my group as of late that had more of a business name instead of a
Mhm.
personal name. So you can do it, but they're still coming in from a profile and not from a business page.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting because you really have to show up as an individual
Yes.
in these communities. You can't just show up as a third entity or a corporation. I guess that's a good thing about it. So there's no anonymity there, right? You can pretend you're somebody else, but you can't hide behind a business facade.
Absolutely. If you want to
Yeah.
be an influencer, you want to be somebody that's known in a space, that's all about you. And so, yeah, when Susie's dog walking or whatever, tries to come in, that's not the type of thing that's going to build the visibility that you want in order to be able to make a name in a space.
Now, if I'm using my personal profile, then I have to be very conscientious of what I'm now posting on my personal Facebook.
Yeah. So when I came into the online space, my first coach was like, do you really want to do this? Like, is building a business really what you want? I was like, well,
Mm.
of course it's what I want, right? That's why I'm here. And they said, okay, well, if that's the case, then you're going to want to use your personal profile as part of the funnel that you have for your business. And it took me some time to get there. Like I wasn't initially, because it was my family, my friends, all those folks on my profile. Once I really got into organic marketing and I understood how your profile works into the funnel that you're creating to get people into Facebook groups and those kinds of things, I decided that it was important enough to me to get women to be able to leverage AI to help more women lead, to help bring more peace on our planet. All of those things were important enough to me to use my profile for this funnel, right? But a lot of people are less comfortable, especially
Mhm,
initially,
mhm.
from a marketing perspective.
And did that change what you were posting now that you were creating this persona where, it's not grandma anymore and your children being posted.
Yeah.
It's a broader audience of who you have to become.
Yeah. So I will say, yes, it changed some because prior to even considering that, I'm pretty sure I posted everything I was eating. I mean, it was like, oh, we're going out to this restaurant. Click, click,
Yeah,
click.
yeah, yeah.
And, lots of things that aren't necessarily something that other people would be interested in, though comes full circle because now I find myself Facebook's actually looking for more of that authentic content. So I find myself posting my meals and going out. Yes, it changed some. And I do have a son who's 10. And so, especially when he was younger, I was careful, more careful about what I posted, some personal details, like what school he was in and those kind of things I didn't no longer wanted to put on my profile for safety sake. So it changed a little bit. But again, I try to be as authentic on Facebook as I can be so that people really get to know me and who I am.
Yeah, that's really good advice because, you know, protecting our children is so important in the social media space. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and so if you're looking to become that personal brand, you have to put some guidelines around that. And
Yeah.
and maybe your children do too if they're connected to you, right?
Yeah.
So I have another question, and
Sure.
I'm seeing so many entrepreneurs jumping into AI. And so it's just an AI question about tools and without really anchoring their brand or growth strategy. So, how do you guide people to use AI in a way that's actually aligned and intentional?
Yeah. So when I get together with somebody to talk about an AI strategy, it's really about what systems they need in their business in order to remove some of the blocks or obstacles they're having, often from an efficiency perspective. So we really spend our time thinking about AI as kind of there are all of these many, many thousands, literally at this point, tools, right?
I
That you
know it's
put
and every tool out there, it's now, if they didn't have AI, they now do have AI.
right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So you said something earlier that I thought was important, and it's along the lines of AI doesn't make you a marketing expert.
No.
You use your marketing expertise that you've learned and you leverage AI to help you do it faster, better, create more content. Same kind of thing for me when I'm helping women implement AI in their business. You're going to have the same business challenges you always had in businesses, right? We just have different ways to try and fix or address those things. I think about it on a big scale, but automation is simple, right? Email marketing tools came out that there were all these kinds of automations that people wanted to put into place. It's really about your business and what systems you need to put in place to successfully meet your goals.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I agree. And it always goes back, when I meet with a client, it's what are your goals? What do you want? And then we'll help figure the how. But if you don't know
Absolutely.
the what, then any path will get you there.
Yes, Absolutely. Absolutely. It little challenging right now because there is so much kind of spin in the air all the time around AI and a new tool popping up or a new change to a tool popping up. It's hard to keep people focused.
It's like social media, right? Like it's
Yes.
a swirl, right?
Right. Absolutely. Shining object.
Yeah, shiny object. So your work goes beyond business and helping women step into leadership in a space that's traditionally been male dominated. How intentional was that mission in shaping your brand?
Yeah. So it was very intentional. When I was in the corporate space, I had a very clear focus of working with women and often trying to find ways to get more diverse women into leadership. And so when I came into the online space, I was very focused on I want to continue to do that. I want to continue to help women lead. I really think women in leadership is a big solution to many of the problems that we have in the world. We need more equal representation. And so I knew that that was where I was going to focus. I didn't, again, know exactly how that was going to shake out. I remember listening to Amy Porterfield's podcast, Email Marketing Made Easy. And I thought, Amy Porterfield, she's known for email marketing, right? That's her thing. What's my thing going to be? And so for the
Mhm.
first couple of years I was in the online space, I was like, I don't have a thing. I don't know what to do. I don't have a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was actually a coach that said to me, I was talking about an automation project that I was working on. And she was like, wait a second, what? You do what in your corporate job? And I was like, well, yeah, I work on automation. I have for like the last 4 or 5 years. And blah. And she was like, and now you're working on AI and everybody wants to know what that is. Hello. That's probably, an area where you know a lot more than you think you do. Right. And so that kind of started the genesis of, well, yeah, I do. I have been doing that. And I find now there is this new term, you've probably heard of it, called vibe coding.
Mm. Well, explain that one.
Okay. So vibe coding is the creation of applications using AI. So instead of just creating text and content and those kind of things, it's actually creating applications. Think of things like Notion or Asana, or you can use it to create project management apps. Or like I'm working on an app right now to help people organize their content. Because to our conversation earlier, you create so much with AI. How do you not lose that? Right. And how do you repurpose it and all of those things? So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Well, I'll have to check into that one.
Yes.
Thank you. So, how do you balance, like, you're a mom and you've got this, this growing business and you've been doing amazingly well. So, how do you balance that and stay aligned with your values and your growth opportunities or your growth mission and plan?
Yeah. One of the things for me when I decided to leave corporate, I had this aha moment, but I also had my son who was like, Mom, don't go to work, right? Don't go to work. Right?
Yeah.
And I didn't really get it. And in fact, I'm just now reflecting on the fact that I was so different when I was in corporate than I am now because I wasn't present. And so it's incredibly important to me to be present. And so I'm dropping off my son, I'm picking up my son, I'm going to soccer practice. I decided what I wanted, what my goals were. And I put it up there right here on this board that's right beside me that you can't see. But on my board, it's got my priorities: family, spirit, health, and business. And I decided that my family was my number one priority. And how was I going to build the rest of my life around that? As opposed to you go into your job and your job dictates on how you spend your time and what you do and who you spend time with.
Sure.
And let's see, I left in September of 2024. And so it's a year and a half-ish into this journey, and now I can't imagine doing life any other way.
I totally agree. And it's interesting because when you decide to become an entrepreneur, it's a different mindset because no longer are you sitting in the seat of the bus, you're driving.
Yes.
And that's right. And that's a little bit scary in a way because, a corporate job, you got steady income,
Yeah.
you know the hours that you're going to work. There's a framework. Now you've got to create that framework. So that's the beauty of it. You create it. I want this, and I want flexibility. I chose it when my son was 15 because I wanted eyes on him and be there when he was
Smart.
home from school, right?
Yeah.
And being able to travel and all of these things to make you feel more whole. But you've got to now be the creator of your life. We always are. And now you're more conscious because everything is more immediate on whatever you do. And you get the immediate feedback. So if a client's not happy, they leave, right?
Yeah.
But I believe more women becoming entrepreneurs, it's very empowering to be able to step into that, but you need to do some soul searching and have some inner strength and be prepared for the resilience that's required to go over through the bumpy rides because there are a lot of bumpy rides.
Absolutely. I think that this is something we do a lot as entrepreneurs. We use the roller coaster analogy because you are responsible for all things. And when I first thought about going down this road, it was actually right before my son was born. And I decided not to. It was 2015, and I decided that I wanted to pursue a promotion in my corporate career because I didn't want to own HR and all
Right.
all that, right?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
that wasn't where I was. But it was a very conscious decision when I left corporate to know that I got to wear all those hats. At that point in my life, it felt like a gift to wear all those hats. And that's where I sit today.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So I want to thank you for being a guest. We always have one question that we ask is, what does prosper with purpose mean for you?
Prosper with purpose. Well, I think it's really important, and this is whether you're an entrepreneur or not, that you are living your life with purpose and finding the thing that really lights you up, that really drives you, that you're really here on this planet to do and to serve. And ultimately, if you're doing that, the prosperity comes and you realize that prosperity isn't necessarily just tied to a dollar.
No, no, the abundance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. So, Abby, anybody who wants to get a hold of you and learn about your AI strategist or coaching, all your services, the books you're writing or in, or
Yeah.
how do
Oh,
they go about it?
yeah. I was about to say, you can't see it behind me, but my book, Authenticity in Action, was just included in the Academy Award gift bags, which was really exciting. Abbey Dyer-Amonette, and I'm sure that will be somewhere in the information. You can find me on Facebook, find me on LinkedIn, and that will lead you to all the other places that you can find me. I do have a group, the AI Empowered Female Entrepreneur. And so if you're interested in learning more about AI and getting into a community where that's something we talk about and you learn how to leverage for your business, please come and join the Facebook group.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll put in the posting with the podcast. Our next show will have another fabulous guest whose journey is sure to inspire you. You can listen to Jump Into It podcast on your favorite platform. We are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, to name a few. With the courage and clarity to bring your ideas to life, be ready to jump into it. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Jump Into It. We empower business owners, marketers, and entrepreneurs to turn vision into momentum. Ready to supercharge your marketing? Grab the Jump Into Breakthrough Marketing Guide, available on Amazon and audiobook platforms. Cut through the guesswork and start building strategies that deliver real results. Ready to take it further? Join our expert-led training and breakthrough tools you can use right away. Don't miss out.
Tune into our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple TV for exclusive insights and inspiration. Stay ahead of the game, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. With the confidence and knowledge to bring your ideas to life, get ready to jump into it.